Hello, I'm Jeff Myers, and welcome to Elgin Today. On this edition,
Tim Williams has details of this year's 44th annual Elgin Valley Foxtrot, slated to run on Tuesday, June 6th. Elgin Today travels to Ann Street for Pastor Willie Tate's honorary street sign ceremony. Mayor David Captain's guest in his segment is Elgin's Chief Financial Officer, Deborah Nawrocki. On another topic, the mayor tells us there will be no July 4th parade this year because of the continuing pandemic, but the mayor adds staff is working on something special for the July 4th weekend, and that takes us to the city's special events coordinator, Kate O'Leary.
we'll have these stories and more on this edition of Elgin Today. We're excited on April 17th, the great ceremony, the honorary street sign ceremony. Pastor Willie Tate and Patricia. Hi, kids, how are you?
I'm great.
We want to talk about this. We're on Ann Street, Progressive Baptist Church we're at. Willie, you've been pastor here since 1986. They named a good portion of the street after you, young man.
Yes,
You're excited, aren't you?
very excited. For 34 years I've been on here.
We had the mayor here. We had several council members, Anna Lally from the police department. So everybody was here. When you were given that street sign, tell me how you felt.
Honored and excited, very highly elated
And you've been so
for the effort.
I don't want to interrupt you there because you've been so exciting. You've been so good throughout the entire city. 30 plus years you've been involved with Public Works, the Boys and Girls Club, Elgin Mental Health Center. You've done it all in the community, haven't you?
Yes, sir. For 34 years at the church, 31 years at the city, and 35 at the Elgin Mental Health Center.
So here at Progressive Baptist, we go from center here on Ann Street down to Dundee. This is all yours now.
Yes, sir. From now on, this is my street.
It must have been a great moment for you, Patricia.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited for you on this event. You brought out everybody in town, it seems like.
Thank you. Always good to have folks to support you.
All right, we appreciate all. How did you first come to Elgin?
How did I first come? I came to Elgin back in 1965.
Wow.
Came with my sister, visiting my sister. Liked it around here, and that's where I stayed.
Wow, you're a very young child in those days.
I was 18 or 19 when I came back.
One look at Elgin for Pastor Willie, and it was here to stay. Congratulations, you two, on this day. It's your day on April 17th here at Progressive Baptist Church.
Thank you. It's a glorious, happy, excited day.
On our next story, Elgin gets ready for the big switch as we talk it over with the Superintendent of Public Works and Aaron Neal. Tell us what we're seeing right here.
So we're currently located outside of the 150 Dexter Court City Hall for our interactive display for our LED light project that's coming in 2021. This is a two-phase project, and the city will be replacing over 6,500 municipally owned and maintained streetlights to LED.
It's a two-phase situation, is that right?
Two-phase. So the first phase is going to be our Cobra headlights, which are typically found in our residential neighborhoods. And this is what the interactive display here is here at City Hall. Phase 2, which will take place in 2022, is going to take care of our post-top and decorative lights, Jeff.
City saves a lot of money. Tell us about that.
Ton of money. So LEDs on a typical application, even in your home, can save you between 65 and 75% in electric costs. Now, we're no different than the homeowner. The city of Elgin has an electric bill.
Yeah.
So if we can replace over 7,000 streetlights and reduce the electric cost by 70%, that's going to bring revenue back into the city by way of not paying it out to ComEd.
It's exciting news. Congratulations. I know you presented that to the council a few weeks ago. And
Yes, sir.
They were delighted, weren't they?
Yes, they were. The council loved it. It's a green initiative. It's in line with our sustainability action plan. We received a written recommendation. We presented this project to our Sustainability Commission. They loved it. It's going to be a great project for the community and one that everyone can see.
Wonderful. And again, you see it in front of us. It's the light standard and the rules. We can come out at night and make that switch, and we can test it out ourselves.
Absolutely. So the city has put 3 trial areas in place. One on McLean Boulevard, one in Cobbler's Crossing, and one in College Green. So if you live in those areas or you're out and about, you can take a ride down and you can see the LEDs actually in action. Or you can come right down to City Hall at night after dusk, and you can turn the lights on. We have fixed some light switches to the pole. You can come here. There's a sign right next to us, Jeff, that kind of overlays the entire project, and it's a one-stop shop.
This is exciting interaction. Wonderfully done.
Thanks,
Congratulations. You've been working on it a long time. How long have you worked for the Public Works?
Oh, I've been with Public Works. It'll be 17 years in June.
All right.
Been there for 17 years in June. This project has been 3 years in the making, and we're finally going to get it off the ground in 2021.
Thanks for shedding some light on this project.
Love it, Jeff. Thank you, sir.
Aaron Neal, right here at City Hall. Our next segment, we're delighted to talk it over with Tim Williams. Tim Williams, you and your group have saved the Elgin Valley Foxtrot in the month of June, June 6th. You'll be running it, won't you? The 44th annual.
Absolutely. It'll be the 44th consecutive running of the Foxtrot. Last year we did it virtually, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but we did have the event. We had close to 300 virtual runners. And this year we're going to be running it live. It'll be the hopefully first big event here in Elgin since COVID came.
We're right here off the library because the starting point right behind us, is it not, sir?
Indeed it is. We're going to start right behind us here. We're going to head north through the neighborhoods, run through the streets on the north end of town, and then we're going to wrap around and come back down to the Fox River Trail. And it's a really an exciting course. It's different than we've done in the past, and it's extremely challenging.
Yeah.
So
The hill right there with
yeah,
the
so
tree.
we start out with a hill, and we've got plenty of hills in between. But this is the Foxtrot, and we're going to make it more of a Foxtrot than ever because we're going to spend a great deal of it on the Fox River,
That's
on the
wonderful.
trail.
Wonderful.
And we got kind of a new thing this year.
Get ready, folks. This is great. What
This
do we
is
got?
really exciting. We're going to go west. We're going to go west across the river under the toll bridge, and we're going to go into Judson University and run through the campus of Judson.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet Judson loves that.
Yeah, they're very excited about having us there. We get to showcase Judson, another gem of Elgin,
Oh,
if
gosh,
you will.
yes.
Yeah, and we get to explore a new part of the path. We're going to be on the Elgin Township path west.
Wonderful.
And then we come back across east again, and finish on the Fox River Trail right here in front of the library
Wow.
again.
It's a great tour, no question about that. So we congratulate you on that. Remind us, it was the Kenyon Farm Runners that really resurrected the trail.
Yeah, in concert with Councilman Steffen, he contacted us, understanding that the city wasn't going to or wanted to step away from special events, and he's been running with us for a number of years and said,
Sure.
"Hey, would you guys like to take a stab at running
Yeah.
this?" And we said, "Sure, let's do it."
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's no question about that. Cost.
Okay, right now the registration fees for the 10 mile is $55, which by the way is a great value for that kind of race, really low cost per mile. And currently for the 5K, it's $40, and that's up until race day. And then in both cases, the fee will go up $5 on race day. But registration is currently open at elginfoxtrot.org. You just go there to register up until race day, the day before race day, and then on race day we'll have on-site registration.
June 6th, it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
You take it off of Memorial Day because there's so much action on that weekend. Isn't that right?
Exactly, a lot of action, and so there's so many other things going on around the city, typically around Memorial Day, and we want to give people an opportunity to come out here and enjoy this without being pulled into other directions. So it's something that we felt was important to continue in Elgin and keep with the tradition around Memorial Day, but not on that day.
You're going to have some folks say a couple of words, no question about that. And again, you'll have a public address system, so just
Yep.
like all the big time stuff it always was.
Oh, sure. We're going to have a post-race party. We're going to give
Oh.
out awards. We're going to have the beer tent. The Kiwanians will be there doing the beer. The race benefits several area nonprofits.
As always.
So whatever we get from sponsorship money or whatever we have in terms of additional monies will go to the local nonprofits.
You should mention you have the 10 mile and 5K.
Oh, sure. We have a 10 mile that starts at 7:30 a.m. and we have the 5K that goes at 7:40 a.m. So we have both races.
All right, we're down to about 10 seconds. Anything else we need to know?
I'd like everyone to come out on June 6th and understand we're going to be practicing safe whatever we need to, whatever the government tells us
Sure.
we need to, and it's going to be a great event for the city of Elgin.
Congratulations for making this dream come true again and continuing. It's wonderful.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for the opportunity to tell everyone about it.
Tim Williams and Kenyon Farm and Ed Bates doing a great job with that. So again, that's going to be June 6th, 44th annual Elgin Valley Foxtrot. We won't have you run. We'll save it for that day, okay?
Thank you so much.
There's been a little bit of controversy in the suburbs of the city of Chicago, people talking about summertime events. And I want to make it clear that we're trying our best to do what we can do. We're not going to have a 4th of July parade, and it's the responsibility of the city council and mayor to make sure our residents are safe, and that's what we're doing. It takes too long to plan these events, to go into July, and think that we're going to be able to get this done and then have further restrictions come on the city. But staff is planning and working on doing something special, and maybe we're going to have some special events that may be a little bit different, but will be just as enjoyable for all the residents, and we look forward to everybody having a great summer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We heard that the mayor said officially no parade July 4th for this year. We're with Kate O'Leary. She's, of course, you're involved with all the special events of the city, and you have a couple of thoughts for us that something maybe kind of like what you did for Halloween last year, where we couldn't have the Nightmare on Chicago Street, but you put a Wing Park event for a weekend that was glorious.
Yes.
So you're thinking of ideas.
Well, yeah, we've got a lot of ideas. We're able to move forward with a lot of our events that people have kind of come to grow and love, like our Concerts in the Park series, our Movies in the Park series. We're going to move forward with that just because we know we can do those safely, as we have done them in the past. Some of our other events, we're just kind of looking at every angle to see what we can do as far as keeping everybody safe and distance, and just making sure that we're following all the protocols that the state of Illinois has put forward. So yes, in an ideal world, we'd like to do everything like we have in the past. We would love to get back to those, but we just got to kind of take a look and build our ideas and build any options that we can come up with to, keep them very exciting, keep them as fresh and as new as they are, and also the events that people have loved in this city.
So you and Fred Wims and company will hopefully potentially create something that might be a July 4th weekend type of event.
We're hoping to, yeah. We've started to throw a bunch of ideas in of, what is possible, what we need to do as far as a multi-day event or a single-day event, or, in what location, if we're going to keep it moving, if it's going to be stationary. So we are throwing a lot of ideas together right now. Every night it seems like something new is coming in.
We love your ideas. Keep us informed before the big train arrives and we got to take a trip here. We heard the mayor officially say it's come up a lot on Facebook and other places. No parade that we knew from 1997 to, of course, 2019, that conventional parade. We'd have to start to put that together like 3 months ago, wouldn't we, to make that work?
It does take a lot more planning than some people think. It's at this point we would already have almost our final lineup ready to go, and it's May. So, we would be just about done with the planning at this point, and if we gotta get this started. So
no matter what happens, we're always more reassured when Kate and company are at work. Thank you, Kate O'Leary.
Thank you.
And that's our information from the center of Elgin. Month of May, it's time for our segment with Mayor David Captain. We love your office, Mayor. That's where we are again.
Yeah, we've been using this as a studio. Studio number one.
You got a great guest for us today.
We do, and it's Chief Financial Officer Deb Naraki for the City of Elgin. And people ask about the important divisions and important departments in the city, and it's not the City Council, and it's not the Fire Department or the Police Department. The most important department is the Finance Department, because all the money goes there and all the money comes out. If they don't sign the paychecks and the money's not there for the paychecks, we grind to a halt very quickly.
So Deb's always popular.
Every city runs on its finances. If we don't have the money to run the city, we don't run. So anybody tells you anything different, that's not true. And Deb's with us today because we're at tax time. And the tax bills will be going out shortly. They'll be coming to your home. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to it. It's always interesting to open it up and see the line items that are on there. But it's a tough discussion for us. Usually in the end of the previous year, in December, we talk about the expenses that we're going to have, and they have to, it's her task and the city manager's task to make sure that we have enough money to pay our bills. So I have her here today to explain how she goes through to come up with a levy, how we process or how she processes the information, and how it ends up in our home in a tax bill.
She's a busy gal this time of year.
She is. She's busier at the end of the year.
Yes.
So, Deb, how do you prepare us for a tax bill when it comes out in June?
Well, it's a long process actually that starts in the summer. As we move into July, we'll start working on our annual budget, beginning with all our departments putting their budget together, looking at what their needs are going to be for the coming year. And then they also submit what we refer to as decision packages. They're more like capital projects or new initiatives that they would like to take on in the coming year. And then we have a budget committee that meets with each of our departments, and they go through their initiatives and why they're important. And then we can pull all that together and start working on the city's budget. And we have to look at all our different revenue streams, where our money comes from sales tax, from property taxes, from the city's share of local income tax, and then other smaller revenue streams. And as we pull all that together, we leave the property tax for last, basically, because we want to keep that as low as we can, and we've been very successful in the last few years of doing that. We've kept our overall levy's been flat for 3 years now, and the general fund piece of it has been flat for about 7 years. So we're kind of proud of that, and and want to keep as much of that burden off the taxpayers' back as we can. But we prepare a proposed budget, which goes to the city council in November of each year. And we do a series of budget meetings where they learn about what's in the budget and what initiatives are there, what new projects we want to do. And then they get a chance to have their feedback, make adjustments to that budget if they so desire. And then we come back in December where the budget is approved final. And we also at that time have the city council approve what our levy will be for the next year. And that levy is made up of a general piece and our public safety pensions and a debt service levy to pay the principal and interest on our bonds. And once the council approves that, which has to be done by the end of December each year, that is submitted to Kane County and Cook County, and they take it from there and prepare the tax bills based on the needs of all the taxing jurisdictions.
Mayor, you told us even with 2020, the pandemic, we were still strong as far as the money flow.
Yes, we compared to many of the communities around us, we were in great financial shape, and that pays well dividends for us long term. And many people get too excited about the things that are going on now, but you got to look at far down the road too. And that's what I always try to do and think 5 or 10 years from now. One of the things that Deb has to deal with is when she talked about the bonds, we have conversations with rating agencies, Standard & Poor's and Fitch. And maybe Deb can explain that and the importance of those things. And it's always nice to have an outside agency look at you and say how you're doing instead of just the mayor or the city manager or Deb saying we're doing well, but we want somebody else to verify that. So Deb, explain how that works for us and the importance of it.
Okay. Whenever we go out to do a new bond issue, to issue debt, whether it be for our utilities infrastructure or for streets, or if we do a refinancing of bonds to achieve interest savings on bonds issued in the past, we have to go through what's called a ratings review. And the city's reviewed by Standard & Poor's and Fitch. And it's like, it gives the city a credit rating, just like we as individuals have a credit rating. Mm-hmm. And we sit down with the rating agencies, the city manager Kozel and myself, and they just want a comprehensive overview of what's going on in the city, not only our financials, but what's going on in economic development, different projects we have going, and then they come back to us with their rating. We most recently retained our AAA bond rating with Fitch, and also our AA+ with Standard & Poor's. And they were impressed with the way that the city weathered the pandemic and the proactive decisions we made in anticipation of the unknown. I mean, thankfully, the year turned out better than we had expected a year ago, but we didn't know that. So we needed to be financially responsible and proactive, and we did that, and they were impressed with that. They scored us high in our financial management, our liquidity, and our budget flexibility. So we were really pleased that we were able to retain those ratings coming off a pandemic.
And we've had the AA and AAA for years, have we not?
We have, yes. And it's paid us, I guess, bad quote or bad term, dividends. Just recently in refinancing, it saved us almost $500,000.
Yes.
And just by taking the same debt and refinancing it, just like anybody would with their refinancing their home.
Right.
We got a couple minutes left, and I think one thing that's important, people, we hear this all the time. Why does the city sit on $30 or $35 million in reserve funds? Okay. And what's the importance of that? And how's that determined? And why do we do that?
Okay. Well, basically, there's like three reasons that we need to have those reserves. The first one is the city's cash flow. And what I mean by that is the city has certain revenue streams, but they don't come in equally throughout the year. You know, we don't take our revenue and it's divided by 12 and come in the same amount every month. We have like ebbs and flows. And there's certain revenues that we receive from the state of Illinois that we have up to a 3-month lag on. And also a major revenue stream being property taxes. We get the bulk of those property taxes in June of each year. So we need those reserves to help us through those times to pay the city's bills.
Deborah's so important to you and the staff, isn't she?
Absolutely, and it's there's no more important person than the one who guides us through the financial troubles that we can run into. And we, we touched on it a number of times today. This is 1 year since the pandemic started in March, and we had no idea how it was going to impact us, what was going to happen, and no one did. And it was an unknown for us, and we had the reserves to take care of, make sure everybody got paid, make sure our debts got paid, our bills got paid, so that we got the streets taken care of. We cut back on some things to make sure we do that. Deb and the city manager will consult with the council. Say we think it's prudent that maybe we'll forego a road project until next year. One of the things that we just pushed back for 1 year was the street light and the LED street lights. And they got pushed back a year because we didn't know what was going to happen. They just came back to the council. Now we're going to go forward this year because we feel confident that we're going to be able to have a good year again this year.
And those
So-
lights should save us some money as well, shouldn't they?
Exactly, yeah, and that's going to save us money in the long run, and that's part of what we like to do as a city, and I like to do at my home and here as well. Sometimes you invest today so you can save money long term, and the payback might not show up for a few years, but we're going to see some dividends from those things as well.
Deborah, 10 minutes is up. That was quick and easy, wasn't it?
It certainly
We
was.
appreciate all your knowledge. Do you ever sleep in the month of October, November? You're never sleeping those months, are you?
Very little.
Well, Mayor, we congratulate you for a great guest for Deborah and all the financial information.
And we just scratched the surface, but it's a very important part of how the city operates.
Congratulations. We might go outside next month, is that right?
We can try to do that, yeah.
All right.
Let's do that.
But for right now, finances it was. Thanks a lot, Deborah. We appreciate that, Mayor Captain. That's our segment with the mayor here on this May edition of Elgin Today.
Amiguitos, bienvenidos a otro segmento de Al Día con Elisa. Y hoy tenemos un gran amigo que sí está con nosotros, Ángelo Rodríguez, quien sí tiene un programa y que diríamos una asociación. Dinos un poquito, ¿cómo se llama tu asociación?
Se llama Alzheimer's Spectrum Foundation. Nuestro número es 773-533-3004.
Eso es una fundación en sí que es en diferentes lados. Yo sé que ustedes están en Pilsen, están en DuPage County, aquí en Elgin, en diferentes lugares. Y dinos un poquito de qué es tu fundación, para quién es. Yo sé que es algo que ayuda bastante a muchas personas y ustedes hacen bastante. So, dinos un poquito primero de tu fundación, de qué es y cómo empezó.
Es para ayudar gente que están afectados con Alzheimer's y demencia.
Como a nuestros abuelitos, o que no tiene que ser nuestros abuelitos, hay personas que se pueden afectar en cualquier edad.
Sí, es verdad. Y también para los cuidadores en casa que están cuidando a la gente con Alzheimer's y demencia.
Las familiares, sí, cierto, sí.
En la latino comunidad y también mi familia queremos cuidar nuestra familia en casa.
Sí.
Y
no los llevamos al asilo para que alguien más, los que nosotros como latinos siempre andamos tratando de cuidar a nuestros padres, a nuestros familiares sin tener que llevarlos y estar con nosotros.
Exacto,
y eso es difícil porque la verdad se cuesta tiempo, dinero y luego que siempre se necesita una otra cosa para poder ayudarles.
Exacto. Nuestro ofrecemos muchos recursos para cuidar en casa como Hoyer Lift para ayudar.
Para levantarlos.
Sí, exacto. De cama al baño o también para bañarlo. Y también ofrecemos cama de hospital.
Que se mueve y ayudarles a sentarse.
Sí.
Es una gran diferencia tener uno de esos.
Y también diferentes cosas para
acomodadores para que se puedan ayudar y facilitarlos el movimiento y todo eso, ¿verdad?
Sí, gracias. Pero también con COVID estamos ayudando a mucha gente con la vacuna.
Sí, para que se vayan vacunando, que aseguren que todos se vayan vacunando porque es bien importante. Ángelo, y dinos un poquito, ¿qué otras cosas hacen ustedes ahí?
También hacemos investigaciones sobre las raíces de la surge
¿De dónde surgen los
de
problemas?
donde surgen la Alzheimer's y demencia.
Ok, y a veces es causa por diferentes cosas, ¿no? ¿Cómo qué?
Sí, como diabetes.
Ajá, diabetes es algo muy grande, especialmente los hispanos.
Y tienen un gran interaction con Alzheimer's.
Sí.
Y entonces también enfermedades del corazón.
Del corazón, cardíacas.
Sí.
Sí, lo que es cardíaco, diabetes y todo eso tiene mucho que ver. En sí surge el problema porque empieza a afectar una cosa a la otra, la cantidad de oxígeno que empieza a afectar, ¿no?
Exacto. Y también los raíces de diferentes poblaciones de gente.
Sí.
De
las minorías
sí,
y diferentes comunidades que no están servidas apropiadamente.
Sí, exacto. Entonces estamos tratando de investigar todo esto entre nuestras investigaciones.
Eso es muy bueno porque están viendo cuáles las cosas que podemos tratar de prevenir. Eso es muy importante ver qué podemos hacer como hispanos, porque ya estamos un poquito predecentes a tener ciertas enfermedades. Nuestra alimentación a veces no ayuda. ¿Qué podemos hacer para prevenir que no nos pase esto? Y ustedes hacen el reportaje para investigar realmente cómo podemos, cuánto es la población y cómo nos está afectando, es que es algo muy importante. Y gracias por hacer eso. Luego nos vas a tener que dar los datos.
Y también ofrecemos diferentes recursos para COVID-19. En vez de la vacuna, también pruebas si tienen COVID-19. Y también si están en casa, ofrecemos comida.
Para las personas que aún a veces no pueden salir, ¿ustedes les ayudan, patrocinan la comida o cómo es eso? Que ellos
tenemos comida y...
¿Van y se los llevan?
Sí.
Ok, eso es algo muy importante. Y sí, hay bastantes recursos que ustedes han ofrecido. Sé que es la vacuna y si al caso alguien está batallando de conseguir asistencia, si necesitan algo para ayudarlos, mover y todo eso ustedes son. ¿Y quién puede participar a ir con ustedes, ayudarle, pedirles ayuda? ¿Cómo se comunican con ustedes? ¿También tienen que tener ciertos documentos, información, aplicaciones o algo?
No.
¿Para quién está abierto?
Para toda la comunidad que necesita.
No importa dónde vivan.
No importa. Lo podemos ayudar a nosotros.
Si tienen familiares que sí tienen demencia o algo así, necesitan ayuda, es importante que busquemos ayuda a ver cómo podemos facilitarlo, porque es difícil y es también un peso que realmente a veces se necesita ese apoyo. ¿Cómo se comunican con ustedes? ¿Además por teléfono?
También por correo electrónico o también tenemos un sitio web.
Ajá.
Y puede mandar mensajes por Facebook o cualquier...
¿Y cómo se llama para que se comuniquen con ustedes?
Alzbeth. ALZZ.
Sí, ahorita lo ponemos, él lo va a poner ahí, no se preocupe de eso. Ajá.
Alzbeth.org.
Ok. Ese es donde el sitio donde pueden desde Facebook y diferentes métodos.
Sí.
Ajá. Y tienen diferentes lugares o ellos nomás tienen que mandarles información y ustedes les ayudan a conseguir cualquier...
Sí, nosotros venimos a la casa.
Ok. Tienen este programa que realmente es importante. Gracias por lo que haces, porque la verdad mucha gente está en necesidad y creo que es algo que sí, entre juntos, ayudemos para patrocinar a otras personas que a veces anden batallando. Es que la verdad felicidades por este programa, porque sé que salió de tu abuelita, ¿no? Que ustedes...
Sí, mi abuela, por eso empezamos esta organización.
Sí, y la verdad qué bonito que estén dando para ayudar a otros, porque a veces se batalla y no sabemos ni cómo hacerle. Es que los esperamos, si al caso necesitan información, ya sabemos, le vamos a poner la información aquí y aseguren que se contacten contigo, ¿no?
Sí, por favor.
Con Ángelo, y la verdad, si al caso tienen algunas preguntas, nos dejan saber. Cuídense y hasta pronto. Adiós.
Muchas gracias.
For more information, please visit cityofelgin.org. Para más información, por favor visite nuestra página cityofelgin.org. Don't forget, for city services, call 311. Call, click, connect. Para servicios de la ciudad, no olvide llamar 311, llamar, conectar y textear.